right now via the D&M Leasing Hotline. It is the great Jon Machota. Jon, how the hell you doing, man?
I'm doing well. I kind of want to get back home, but then I kind of don't want to leave this weather, so I'm torn right now.
Okay, so you are a little bit homesick, because Brian's like, nah, I could stay out there another month.
Yeah, I think part of my decision on this is that probably did the wrong thing by jumping in the car right after the game in Vegas and driving back, and so we probably didn't get back here at about 6 a.m. So kind of was getting my sinuses were starting to bother me a little bit, and now I'm starting to get a little sick. I think Vegas did that to me, so I think that factors in a little bit as well, that maybe it'd be better to go to sleep in my own bed, but hey, here we are. This is the life that we chose, though, so we will march on.
There you go. I like that. I like to hear that a lot. I like to hear that.
We're marching on.
We're marching on. Hey, Jon, practice was out here behind us today. Had a chance to speak with Jerry Jones, saw a couple of your tweets. One of them was about the CeeDee Lamb. What can you tell us from your time with Jerry out there in the CeeDee Lamb conversation?
Yeah, he says they're having good talks. Nothing definitive. Not that I would expect him to say anything definitive, but it's one of those things where, when Jerry talks, that's the number one thing he's going to be asked about is CeeDee Lamb, and number two is probably Dak Prescott's contract. And so, he says, that, things are, I guess, progressing, but I don't know that necessarily means anything. I felt all along that the longer I've been out here, that they want to get it done before the regular season starts. Jerry has said as much. He doesn't really care to see CeeDee out there risking injury, playing in the preseason games. He doesn't mind him not doing that. I get the sense from CeeDee Lamb's social media posts that he would like to be with the team with a new contract. I ultimately still think he gets one done. There's nothing that really has changed my line of thinking. As many times as we've talked to Jerry out here, now we're going on 5 weeks of being out here, I still feel the same way that I did entering camp, where I don't think that they'll have a new deal done with Dak before the season starts, and I do think they'll have one done with CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to pick your brain on the Dak deal, but I'm with you, man. I don't think Dak's getting done. I think CeeDee will get done, and if Dak doesn't get done before the season, how likely do you feel that means that this might be his last season with the Cowboys?
I don't know if I'd say it's likely. I still think that the Cowboys have a decent chance to re-sign him. I just don't see them getting a deal done once the season starts. The Cowboys just generally, I can't think of the last time that they've signed a player to a contract extension mid-season like that, So that's part of the thing where I'm like, for me on that contract, that really is that week one game in Cleveland is where I think it, if there's nothing done by then I think he plays out the year, and depending on how the season finishes, then the two sides come back together. But I will say this is the most comfortable I've seen Dak in terms of the idea of, well, if it's not here, then you know what, maybe it's out of my control, and I'll go play somewhere else. As much as I think he would really prefer to play his entire career with the Dallas Cowboys, I think he's come to the realization that there's a possibility that doesn't happen, that maybe he does end up finishing his career somewhere else, which again, I don't think he wants that, but I think he's kind of at peace with that possibility.
Jon, do you think that maybe that the inner peace that he has is he doesn't want to deal with that national media anymore and the scrutiny that he gets as the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys?
I don't think I don't think that is it. And the only reason I say that is because I've never been around anybody that handles it better than him.
Yeah.
Like, he is just fit for it.
Sure.
I would say, and this isn't anything I know from him or anybody around him, this is just my own opinion on what I've seen watching him as a player, going into year 9 now. I will say that if they weren't to give him the offer that he wants, I think that would be a chip on his shoulder to be like, okay, you guys don't want me? All right, we'll see.
Sure.
We'll see let's see what I do in their team. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm worth that money. You guys don't think I am? That's fine. Somebody else will. Yeah. And we'll see. Let's see what happens if you guys think that. If you guys think that I'm the problem, if you guys think I'm the one that's keeping us from making runs in January, let's go ahead and see what happens there.
Yeah.
Jon Machota with us here on 105 through the fan of the GBag Nation. Practice today. I know Brian was really having FOMO. He wasn't able to go out there and watch it. So what can you tell us? What went down at practice, Jon?
I'll say this. Judging by the way people are that interact with on social media, they're going to be happy that there was a lot of Cooper Beebe at center, a lot of Tyler Guyton at left tackle with the ones. It's been kind of interesting this practice. So I know, Brian, when you've been out there, you've seen it. Like, if an offensive lineman has like a false start or something, they'll pull him out.
Kick him out, yeah.
So Dak threw a pick to Diggs, and he set out one rep. Rush came in, took one, and then Dak came right back in right after him. So I'm like, you can tell that they're trying to do this across the board. But I would say the number one thing that stood out to me is the deep ball connection with Dak and Jalen Brooks. It looked better than any other time we've seen so far in camp. And Brooks has speed, and he really showcased that today in practice, because obviously you don't have CeeDee Lamb out here, and then Brandon Cooks isn't out here today either. So, you're seeing a lot more. It's the ones where like Jalen Brooks, Tolbert, and then a lot of Kevontae Turpin. And so that's the one that I will say from watching these camp practices, I thought we'd see a little bit more at Turpin, but today there definitely was a lot more with Cooks not being out there. I would not sleep on Turpin having a bigger role than he had last year. I still think that there's a possibility for that to happen. Now, I don't know how you would use Cooks, Turpin, Deuce Vaughn, and a bunch of other smaller guys like that, but maybe that happens. I will say I haven't seen a lot of that out here. But yeah, the Jalen Brooks deep ball thing was definitely clicking.
Let me ask you this, though. You mentioned about Vaughn. How do you have this? How you handicapping the running back situation here? Because I felt it's unfortunate for him that he got hurt, because there was some things that you and I saw in OTAs, and they were trying to do things with him, put him in the slot, out of the backfield, fourth down, throw him the ball, mojo moment, throw him the ball, that kind of thing. Is there still enough time for him to make this team? Is he on the team in your roster, in your mind, or how do you see this playing out for the running backs?
I will say, seeing him in Vegas, I just find it hard to believe that they're going to keep him off this team. I just think he brings some type of a juice that I don't know. I also think that there's a decent chance he'd get claimed by somebody else, where some of these other running backs on the roster might not.
Right.
And so maybe that's why they wouldn't risk it. But I'm glad you brought that up, because to me, I think that's the toughest. When we sit down, we do our 53s, we pretend like we're Will McClay, but we really don't have any idea. But when we do that, for me,
neither did they. Don't worry about it, though. Yeah.
So running back's the toughest for me. But I bring this up because when we were just talking to Jerry out there, he was asked specifically what position groups are going to be the toughest to trim down, and he immediately named 3, and he said wide receiver, tight end, and the secondary. And while you know what it is, he probably thinks of those because there might be there's more talent there than the running back room. For me, it's the running back room, because it's, what really threw me off is Steven mentioning the Royce Freeman about early in camp. Because if he didn't mention that, I think I would be set on Hunter Lipke, Deuce Vaughn, Rico Dowdle, and Zeke would be the 4.
That's how I think it's going to play out. I mean, to me, I don't, like I say, I kind of felt like that, to me, that Deuce Vaughn, if he didn't get hurt, then he would probably be on this team. I don't know now, but you're right. They don't.
But what about this thing, Brian? What about that thing right out there? All the logos, the stuff in the middle of the field. It's all got Deuce on there, like the official training camp logo. It's Deuce is the running back that's on the thing in the middle. Jerry's tower in the middle. So I keep joking around with people when we do our 53s. I'm like, I don't know, man. Deuce is the picture on the tower. I don't think they would do that if they were going to let him go.
Not going to cut Deuce. What about the Malik Davis
I really don't
love?
think they're going to do it. I really don't think they're going to let
John,
him go.
do you not? Is the Malik Davis love just fluff that they've been trying to throw out there to us?
Potentially. My thing is that, with all these running backs, I find it hard to believe that you're not going to be able, like, let's say you lose a couple of them. I find it hard to believe you're not going to be able to find, let's say, if you lost them, another guy from another team that cut to 53 that you're just like, damn, we didn't think he was going to be available, and so just because they don't have, like, the 16, 17, 18 Zeke or Pollard of the last couple of years, it's really more of a, I would say as today, if you ask me, like, my friends and family that ask me about fantasy, I think Rico Dowdle will be their top fantasy producer. Like, I think he'll have the most yards, rushing touchdowns, and that. But if it also was somebody that's not on the team right now, I wouldn't be completely stunned, because it is kind of just a wide open thing, and we just haven't seen a ton from Ezekiel Elliott to know if he, where he is, But for them not to even dress him against Las Vegas, I feel like they know where he is, and that's on the 53.
Let me ask you this. So Jerry mentioned the tight ends. Do you see it the same way? I'm kind of a Ferguson, Stevens, and Schoonmaker. And then Hunter Lipke, maybe my 4th tight end, depending on if you don't want to put him at running back. But hard cut there? Is Jerry kind of trying to bring Span Ford in here, who, he gave $250,000 to on a guarantee?
Yeah. If it wasn't for that, that's the reason that I've had him on my 53s.
Yeah.
But if you go off of what we've seen so far, I don't think you'd have him. Actually, I don't think you'd have Brevin Spanford ahead of Princeton Fant, to be honest with you.
I agree with you on that.
And so I think that is potentially a position where they only go 3.
Yeah.
Thinking that, well, maybe we'll get Fant or Spanford or Hendershot back because what are the odds that another team signs all 3 of those guys, you know?
Right.
So it would not surprise me, especially if you're going to keep 3 quarterbacks. Jerry said that Trey Lance is on the roster.
Right.
He said he wants to see more, but he said Lance is on the roster.
Sure.
So if you're keeping 3 quarterbacks, then you're going to have to go thin somewhere, and it might be tight end, which kind of shocks me because I think it's one of the better position groups on the team, but I could see them going 3 there.
Where do you think
3 you have?
Yeah, what do you think the safety group looks like here?
See, I think that's easy. I just think you go 4. I think you go Wanye, you go Marquise Bell, Donovan Wilson, and Malik Hooker.
Yeah.
Why? Do you have anybody else jump in there?
No. I was just wondering though. Do you think it's a deep group though? Do you like the guys
hold on
like
here.
Woods and others?
So I cover the Dallas Cowboys, and I will tell you this is the deepest group by their standards. I mean, you go back to some of those.
yeah.
Oh no,
trust me, 5-6 years ago. Honestly,
right.
it was the way the running back position is now, where you're
Sure.
just like, all right, it's been devalued.
Yeah.
But no, I like their safeties also because of the fact that I think McQuamu makes the team, and I think you can get some help there from him as well to play some safety slash corner.
Since you did this, handicap Booth, McQuamu, and Hall. Give me a 1, 2, 3 on that, because I think it's the last spot.
Okay, if I have to pick that right now, McQuamu is clearly my 1.
Okay.
Man, that next one.
You haven't
If it's
seen
not
the whole-
that pick 6, if not for that pick 6, it would be easy for me. That pick 6 changed things here a little bit.
Going
For the
green.
North Texas kid, yeah. Man, I still.
So you haven't seen much of Booth, and I know it's unfortunate.
He got beat on the one.
and he almost got another one too
Right.
that was over the top.
But he definitely fights, and he made some good plays after that. The way he bounced back from it, I kind of liked. That one's more up in the air, but I think it only comes down to one of those 3 will make it, and I think it'll be Mukwamu.
That's the thing about it is are 3 guys going for 1 spot?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. John, last thing before we let you out of here, man. Florida State, how your Noles looking for this year?
They're looking pretty good. Not as good as last year. I think they're a playoff caliber type team, and I'm looking forward to their opening the season in Ireland. So it's an early game, the same day that the Cowboys play on Saturday. So I got to get to the stadium early so I can watch that. But no, they'll be good. They're not going to be as good as they're not going to compete for a national title. But I'm looking forward to seeing DJ Uyunglele. And
well done.
I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But
Nailed
good
it.
or bad, I'm just looking forward to they come to town and play SMU. So
Pony
I'm looking
up.
forward to going to that game, seeing how many Noles turn up for that.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you giving us some time, man. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday.
All right, boys, take it easy.